I guarantee he paid for it.
I can't.
I guarantee it.
Calm down. Calm down, brother.
Come to the fight. Come to the fight.
I could have stopped him. It's me. Because I ain't pick it up when I supposed to pick it up. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning. When I felt like he was slow, it was just already late down the line. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning.
Gervonta Davis has undoubtedly found his voice again after going quiet for a few weeks after giving a lackluster performance against Lamont Roach. This is what 3 weeks of training does to you. He indicated he will return to the gym following the fight, giving himself merely the first week to rest and recuperate. He's likely regaining his groove now, and he's called out Lamont Roach, telling him that this time around will be very different. He's going to be a death sentence guy. This conversation needs to end. Gervonta posted a tweet on X.
Amateurs, was there a little, you're not going to scare me, you're not going to, intimidate me. I see the smile on your face. What was going on in the ring? What was being said, man?
He was like, if I hit him with a little jab or whatever the case, oh, that ain't nothing. Or if he hit me, or if I block a shot, I was like, oh, too slow. Or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Like, I'm like, it's okay.
Steve, what was he saying to the referee?
When I said to Steve?
No, what was he saying? He was
talking to the ref the whole time, too, yeah.
Oh, so, all right, so one time, when I hit him on the break, look, fool, hey, fool, this me and you, fool. This me and you, fool.
Tank.
This me and you, fool. Don't worry about them. They might get you. They gonna trick you off your spot. They gonna trick you off your spot, fool. Don't worry about them.
What is the characteristic of a Gervonta Davis tweet? Particularly if the tweet is a taunt or a shot directed at someone else. Naturally, we are aware that Gervonta Davis promptly removes such tweets. And that's exactly what he did after declaring that the Washington, D.C. native will be sentenced to death in his rematch with Lamont Roach. The World Boxing Association's definition of talk may refer to how Lamont. On every platform he comes across, Roach has been actively harassing him. Since defeating Gervonta Davis, the Reaper Roach has become more active on X. He has actually been given tens of interviews to talk about how the fight turned out, and Gervonta Davis is not pleased with this. And in anticipation of their rematch, things are becoming intense and violent. Worse than the initial altercation.
Don't worry about them.
Come on, stop. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know how I'm coming. Y'all know how I'm coming. So stop it. Y'all gonna make it hard for him. That's what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna make it hard for him.
Unbiased Box 2 posted on X a few days ago. Lamont Roach Jr., the WBA Super Featherweight Champion, was interviewed on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. When discussing the contentious draw with Gervonta, Davis Roach was questioned about if the referee's decision to not call it out in round 9 affected his approach to the other rounds. He answered without hesitation, it must say no. Why he clarified that he didn't consider Gervonta Davis's knee injury to be a setback. In fact, it gave me more confidence. To Roach, it demonstrated that Gervonta Davis was having trouble and that his strategy was effective.
Gervonta Davis.
Truthfully speaking, it wasn't really hard to focus. I've been an underdog before, obviously not a huge underdog, but when you go back to the Jamel fight, world title fight, I was an underdog. When you go back to the Hector fight, I was an underdog. Very disrespectful underdog, honestly. So now when we get here to the Tank fight, it's just like, all right, here we go again. I feel like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up.
He just taking a knee was a huge encouragement since our efforts are paying off. The Washington native disclosed the secret is that he had an advantage because the two had already collided twice during their amateur careers, following the delivery of a piercing 3-punch sequence, one of which struck Gervonta Davis's eye cleanly. Lamont Roach Jr. realized he had hit the jackpot. For this reason, he turned to the referee right away and yelled, "Keep counting, he's tripping, that's a knockdown." Seeing the 30-0 with 28 knockouts collapse to the ground, the fighter anticipated that referee Steve Willis would follow protocol and start the required 10 count on January 2nd. Willis did begin counting at first, but for some reason he stopped when he got to 3, not ruling it a knockdown.
Winning rounds, what was your thought on it?
I thought I was winning rounds too.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were giving. This is so like the criteria for boxing. Okay, if a guy is coming forward or if a guy is controlling the ring or whatever the case may be, using ring generalship to box or anything like that, was he outboxing me? Was he using the ring to set me up with certain shots or anything like that? No. I was pressing the action. He was being cautious.
And this is the primary reason the game ended in a draw. If you didn't notice, he began counting and then stopped. When he started counting again, I asked, "What are you doing?" "Keep counting," the 29-year-old said angrily. To exacerbate the situation, one of Gervonta Davis's coaches, Calvin Ford, went into the ring in the middle of the battle to wipe his fighter's face. Another blatant disregard for the rules. Tank might have been disqualified as a result of that. In a championship match, such errors were startling considering Williams' reputation as an accomplished referee. It makes sense that Roach and his group are furious about what they perceive to be a flagrant officiating error. But Roach isn't the only one advocating for change. Terrence Crawford and Ryan Garcia are in agreement.
In real estate, we established ourselves in the fight, so I thought we was winning the early rounds based off that. But I said it all along, Tank ain't never been into a ring with a full package fighter like Lamont. And he was going to have to think a little bit more than he think in the past. And yeah, we was right there. We want to see what his full arsenal is. We told him to bring his tool bag because we was bringing ours. So he had the opportunity to capitalize on some of the things we done, and we had to capitalize on his. But yeah, that was part of it.
You brought a tool bag, you brought a lunch bag, you brought...
Of all the storylines, this one is the most inexplicable and still merits a little more attention. What the hell was going on with Davis? Although it was shocking to watch the 30-year-old Baltimore native battle against such a formidable underdog after controlling the sport for so long, that wasn't precisely the most unexpected thing. After bulking up to lightweight, Roach appeared to be the bigger fighter. He wrote the most remarkable performance of his career by using the expertise and confidence he gained from growing up in the same boxing circles as Davis.
Why not? What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I said, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how boxing works.
Especially when he was trying to find certain shots. It's like we were doing a lot of talking back and forth. So
about that next, yeah.
it's like I know that he was trying to steal. I know that he was trying to steal because I was establishing the real estate. I was popping my jab. I was making them think. I was making them do a lot of things. And the fact that he knew, well, he figured he had to be cautious after he threw certain punches as well because he was worried about counter shot.
The most significant set of questions concerned Davis's mentality and the frequently odd behavior he displayed prior to, during, and following the fight. This has raised the question of whether this was just a bad night for one of the sport's best pound-for-pound fighters, or if Davis has lost the competitive fire and killer mindset that made him such a huge box office draw. It is not unusual for boxers to arrive late for media events, particularly Davis, who was almost 2 hours late for the 2023 kickoff press conference against Ryan Garcia. December. Davis was normally playful and loose during fight week, but he went above and beyond when he unapologetically arrived nearly 4.5 hours after the start of his first event with Roach in New York, and then arrived 90 minutes late to last Friday's weigh-in. However, his actions during the fight became concerning when, in the first half, he twice looked away from Roach to quarrel with Willis, only to take clean punches in return.
It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not, like, totally upset. I figured with a superstar, you won't get too much on paper.
At times in between rounds, cameras on Prime Video captured Davis shouting, "Listen to me," in defiance of trainer Calvin Ford's counsel in the corner. Then in round 9, there was the uncalled knockdown. Following a string of jabs that Roach hit on, Davis began blinking his left eye violently before turning away from the action and kneeling. When Ford used a towel to wipe his eyes, Davis immediately got up and raced to his corner, which might have resulted in his disqualification under the rules. Willis admonished Davis before allowing the action to continue after briefly starting the required 8 count, but stopping at 3.
So for sure, and like it goes to when we were talking about pre-fight, he never been in the ring with a guy like me with my demeanor, with my skill set, with my ability to punch with a guy. I don't even know if he's, because I know he's been in there with punchers that technically punch harder than me, or from what we saw.
He don't leave him alone. He
Exactly.
never been in with a guy who he hits and he leaves him alone.
Exactly.
And he doesn't leave him alone.
Why not? What you talking about? He like, nah, ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how boxing works.
In addition to his odd post-fight interview explanation, Davis's demeanor was notably less than serious given that he nearly lost his title and undefeated record due to jeering from the crowd, which followed by cries of embarrassment or indifference. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago," he said. "She greased my hair, causing it to spit in my face while I was perspiring, burning my eyes. Damn, why are you all booing like I'm saying nonsense?" Davis remarked. "These facts are true. Man, hurry up. I recently had my hair done, but it looks great, dude. You are aware of how they loathe you after loving you. They will love you once more if you turn around."
Shit, good. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with it. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
When describing his performance at the post-fight press conference, Davis, who has a mandated rematch provision in his contract and expressed interest in one Monday on social media, seemed a little more modest, which merely revealed a lack of situational awareness regarding the regulations. Davis stated, "I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have done more. I was lost and lost track of the rounds." Nobody likes a draw from a guy who gets knockouts and things like that, but it's cool, Davis remarked. "We therefore require ring girls. I had no idea what round the facts were."
Did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must say do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
"I didn't want to be discovered with my eyes burning. I would rather take a knee since you can get knocked out like that, but I was unaware that getting mid-round corner help may disqualify you." Willis began counting, and I thought, what the hell? However, it's cool. In an interview with Colin McGuigan on television, the Golden Boy referred to referee Steve Willis for leading an infraction in the 9th round when Gervonta, after taking a blow to the eye from Roach, turned around and went down on one knee. This should have been a knockdown, costing him a point. And with that, the judges ought to have awarded Roach the round.
Who won Tank or Lamont?
This is my opinion.
Sure.
It was a great fight. It was a close fight. Depending on what they do with that decision of taking the knee, depending if the commission reverses the decision, or I think a draw was meant to be. So I like the draw.
Do you like
When I hit him on the break, he was like, "Get out of there." He said, "Stop holding." As soon as he said stop holding, I punched him. So he's like, how you gonna tell me to stop holding and let him punch me or something like that? Steve said, fight out of the clinch. That's what we were gonna do. He came in the back and was like, I'm gonna let you fight out, especially if one arm is loose or whatever the case may be, as long as you're not holding and hitting. So when he said, get out of there, he got out of there without his hand.
You are aware of the identity of the referee or commission. Since the referee is a professional with expertise, I was actually shocked that he permitted that to occur. According to him, 52-year-old former boxer Steve Williams has officiated a few fights for Golden Boy Promotion. De La Hoya acknowledged his surprise at his performance, but what really caught him off guard was Lamont Roach's performance, which he claimed put Gervonta Davis in trouble. Roach was a fantastic fighter, and I thought he did a fantastic job against Gervonta Davis. I think Lamont Roach was at the top of his game, and it was a great fight, Oscar De La Hoya said.
If you take a knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened with the referee. Maybe he was a little starstruck. Maybe he was a little,
Renowned boxing coach Teddy Atlas gave his input on what he thought went wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I am, but I'm ashamed of myself. I am so cynical. But this sport has made me cynical. I'm sorry. I don't see anyone's going to make...
Teddy Atlas, a famous boxing coach, shared his thoughts on what he believed went wrong.
It's going to reprimand this referee. What are they going to do? I mean, it happens too often. It's happened too often. I don't know. We need a national commission. That's the only thing I can think of, but we're not getting one right now.
Since the referee would never have done the same for Roach, he implied that he was unworthy and might have been bought off. Poor referees better, more knowledgeable, trained, or whatever term you want to use. Referees are what we need. We definitely need better referees who know how to make a decision, know they're making the right call, and have the courage to do it. I don't think that referee would have allowed Roach to get away with what he let Tank Davis get away with, which is why Tank is a star. I won't say honest because I'm not sure if honesty was the problem
right now. But the last thing I want to say to put a bow on this one, Bud, we talked about the controversial part, but I want to finish with...
He went on, tell me if I'm correct, but I think he set a record for the most fans in Barclays Center ever. They may have also set a gate record. They've held basketball games, fights, and concerts there, and they performed well. He is well known, attracts a large following, and generates respectable pay-per-view figures. Although I'm not sure of the exact figures, he is one of those men that regularly generates respectable pay-per-view numbers. He brings all of it with him.
The great part. That was high-level boxing. That was two guys at the highest level showing their skills.
There's an issue when a referee permits him to take a knee, which is against boxing rules, and gets away with it, not awarding a 10-8 round when it ought to have been. Just before that, he was stabbed. I'm not attempting to target Tank Davis. People already claim that I exaggerate or protect him excessively, even if he is fantastic. He is a fantastic all-around fighter, a puncher both inside and out, defensively responsible and quick-handed. He executes punches, goes to the body, counterpunches, sets traps, and so on, but he was mistaken in this instance and got away with it because the sport guided him. The administrators of this sport have many issues with the fighters, but there is nothing wrong with them themselves. We must cease perceiving it because we shouldn't continue to do so.
Make a guy miss and you counter, and then all of a sudden you're in front of him. Boom! You're the invisible man. You're on the... That's sweet science too, yes. And it's easier to see. It grabs your attention. Oh, wow, look at that guy. He's on the outside.
A referee can't let something not in the rule book slide, Teddy Atlas stated. After being jabbed, Tank takes a knee a moment or two later. You know what? I apologize. It's a knockdown. It's a knockdown if your knee goes down at that moment. You understand what I mean when I say that there are no fair catches here. This isn't football. As he said last night, in some circumstances, it would constitute a touchback to take a knee if it were football. Rules exist for a purpose. Even one of the top 3 pound-for-pound boxers, Terence Crawford, is with him. USI and INWI emerged and uttered, "I didn't know that was a rule. I guess I was sleeping when they passed that one." I should also mention that he didn't say this, but perhaps he was busy doing road construction or something else when that rule, which isn't a rule, came up. The Indianapolis 500 is not this. Pit road doesn't exist in boxing because you need to change your tires, change your oil, or wipe the grease off of your eyes. Tank got to his knees, and Roach gave him credit, or perhaps said that he ought to have pursued him, as the adage goes, defend yourself at all costs. It would have been legal for him to assault,